Hi, guys. Welcome back to the show. We are so
Hi.
excited to have you. I'm Heather.
And I'm Taya.
And today's episode is going to be about friendships and making new friends as adults. But before we get into that, we do have a new segment that we are super excited to start. We're going to be talking about either books that we're really into or reading at the moment, or TV shows, music, kind of
Whatever our current hyperfixation is at the moment.
And so we're going to do that at the end of the episode. So stay tuned. Today we're going to talk about the books that we're reading. All right. So yeah, today we're talking about making new friends as adults.
Yep.
So quick overview. We said this in a previous episode, but me and Tay have known each other for about 21 years. We kind of, caught up on and off throughout the years, but didn't really get close until probably the last 5-ish years or so.
Yeah. There's we knew each other, we were acquaintances. And then when you were planning your wedding,
Yeah.
I think we were more involved in each other's lives just because we were in a similar location and had similar friends. And then your wedding was a ton of fun.
Thanks.
But then you moved to Seattle. And
That's true.
that
Put a damper on things.
That put a damper on things. Which was very convenient when we wanted to go to Seattle and the cat.
That's nice view of his butt there. If you're
Yeah.
watching the video, you're welcome.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so we had known each other for quite a while. And then it wasn't until you moved back up and we lived in, again, a similar area.
Yep. You
And
had
I was-
babies.
Yeah, I was going to say I was pregnant, which
Yep.
is amazing that people that come out of the woodwork when you're pregnant.
Really? Are they babies?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Mhm.
Okay. I wouldn't know.
And some aren't some aren't bad, but some as soon as you have the baby, they're poof, disappear. And you're like,
Yeah.
where'd you go?
Oh, I remember that in psychology in school, how it's the mom is the main focus of attention while she's pregnant, and then you have the baby and it's no attention on you anymore, and how that can be a really hard transition. Anyways,
Yeah, we'll go into that in the mental health one.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you had Quinn, and he was super adorable. I love babies. I do. So I was one of the, I didn't come out of the woodwork. I was already in the woodwork, but once you had the baby, I was like, yes, I will come over more often.
It was harder to get rid of her. That's what she
It
said.
really was. Yeah, I was at your house all the time.
And then it grew from there. Yeah.
Yeah. And then COVID, I don't know if COVID brought us closer together, because around COVID you had Willow, and I wanted to see her, but I couldn't,
Yeah. I mean, obviously COVID was a really weird time for everyone.
Yes.
But I think for us,
friendships.
it was, yeah,
Right.
in every aspect, really.
Yeah.
For us, it was the time when we independently realized that we wanted to leave this community that we had grown up in. And then when at one point we came together and had a conversation about it, which was terrifying to be like, I don't believe it anymore. And she's like, oh my God, I don't either. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So we kind of came together from that. And then I think after that, it was bonded through trauma or whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
You know?
And we both kind of knew what that meant for our friendship circle, because all of our friends were in this religion.
And it's not even just friends. I mean, yes, all of our friends were in the religion, but it was also our community. Think about what encompasses your community. It's everyone who you rely on. It's your social circles. It's your family. It's who you call on to do activities, to have parties, to do everything with. Imagine all of those people suddenly being gone out of your life.
Yep.
That is hard.
That was very hard.
And it was a conscious decision we made, but it doesn't negate how hard it was.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think knowing that we were going to lose that community, brought you and me together, just super close, because we're we got to hold on to each other.
Yeah, we knew we weren't going to have anyone else. Yeah.
Exactly. And then we had to figure out how to create a new community. And that was scary too, because we were not encouraged to make friends outside of their religion. And so it felt like this whole new group of people open. I'm like, anyone can be my friend.
That guy? That
Right.
guy
Yeah. No, not that guy. But I remember even going to work and be like, oh, if people invite me out, I I can say yes, I can go with them. I don't have to feel guilty about that.
Yeah.
Nobody invited me, which was a big shock.
You're still waiting. It's because you turned him down so much.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we knew ahead of time that we were going to lose people in our lives. But yeah, like you said, it doesn't make it any easier.
Well, and in this journey, we have learned that this is kind of a universal shared experience for a lot of people, and that, you know, we have friends in the Navy, so in the military, and they obviously move around a lot. And so they are ripped from their communities, even though they have a built-in community. It's, you know, it's different. And then we have friends who've relocated from out of the country here. So their extended family and their friends are not conveniently located. And so this whole thing of having to rebuild or build from scratch a community and a friend circle is something I think all of us deal with. And even if it's something smaller, like, you know, coming back out of your cocoon after having kids, like it changes your social circle. It changes what kind of people you want to have around and what kind of things they're into. You know, if you were the partying crowd and now you have kids and you can't do that, like it changes things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it changes your relationship with people that don't have kids. Like luckily you and I have stayed really close, but I know that you have special bonds with other moms because you have that shared thing in common. And also I know that you can't go out at the drop of a hat. I can't be like, hey, you want to go to Seattle this weekend? You're like, no.
I'm getting closer. I'm getting closer to that phase again for my life. But yeah,
I totally agree with that I think it's a very common thing to experience these like changes in your friendship circle as you grow, feeling lonely.
Yeah, that's something more than one person has brought up, the loneliness factor of it. Feels very isolating. It does feel very lonely. It's hard to put yourself out there because that fear of rejection is so legit.
Yeah. And I think having that in the back of your mind when you're trying to make new friends is really helpful. Because if someone came up to me and was like, hey, I love your sweater and you look nice. Do you want to get a cup of coffee? That I would be like, wow, yes, I do. Can we be friends? Like,
really?
Yes.
See, I would go the opposite and I'd be like, get away from me, you freak.
Oh my gosh. See, you're the problem. No, I mean, like, if they didn't do it in a creepy way, like, hey, I like your sweater. You want to go get coffee? But, but no, I would love it. Like, I was telling Tay, I was just at the dry cleaners the other day and the girl at the register was so cool and she just seemed like a nice person and she was like, all right, girl, you're all set. And I was like, you call me girl? Does that mean we're friends? Like, when will I see you again?
When will I see you again?
I really was like I had a brief thought of like, should I ask her for her number? Like,
oh, that's amazing.
But I had no idea how to go about it, you know?
Yeah. Well, and that's the rub, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
Okay, say you're having a fun conversation with someone. How do you take it to the next level?
Yeah.
How do you, it's terrifying.
Yeah. How do you do that? And if you have any tips, please comment that.
No, I think about when I met our friend Courtney. We had been having these meetups at the park that someone on social media had put up there. And I was like, well, what the hell? I need to take these kids to the park. And so Courtney and I had like been talking as our kids were similar ages and we're playing at the park. We had been talking for a couple weeks and finally I was like, today's the day. You're going to get her number. Like, today's the day. I was so nervous though, because I was like, what if she thinks I'm a freak? What if she doesn't want to be my friend? What if she thinks I'm weird? What if I'm coming on too strong? And like relating this information to her now, like almost 3 years later, she's like, no, wait, I was so nervous too. Because I was like, I want to be her friend. Does she want to be my friend? Like, she had her own reasons for being nervous, which I thought like is so endearing, but also like such an interesting point that everyone is nervous for their own reasons. And so I think if we approach these situations with kindness, it can go a long way.
Yeah. I remember meeting Courtney and she looks like such a badass, like half her head is shaved and she's got tattoos. And I remember meeting her
about
and being
cool
like,
girl energy.
So cool. And I remember meeting her and being like, she's too cool for me. She's never going to want to be my friend. And now we know her and she's just like the sweetest person ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's it's funny how you have these preconceived notions about how people are gonna receive you.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's not the case at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think it goes back to the concept of like in our past life, we had friends of convenience, right? Friends that were supplied to us because we had the same core beliefs. You
Just
know,
being
it was
in the same community.
right.
Yeah.
Versus branching out and being able to literally like hand pick these friends is really exciting. And like, I think Courtney's kind of a good example of that, because if you were to see us standing next to each other, like you'd be like, what? These girls, you know, these girls have nothing in common. They look, you know, she's super cool. I'm pretty vanilla. Like, you know,
You're cool too.
I mean, I am wearing wide-legged pants, so I'm getting crazy.
Yeah, calm down.
But like that speaks to me of how much it's worth it to put yourself out there and try, because you never know. And not that you have to have all the same beliefs or the same, you know, thoughts on things. Like you're allowed to have differing opinions, but just there are good people in every shape and size.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to that point of handpicking friends, sometimes you try to start a friendship with somebody and it doesn't work. Again, it's kind of like dating. Like you just don't really click. I think you have a good example of that happening to you.
I do. Not long after we had left, I was desperately trying to make new friends. And so my then current pool was people I worked with. And so I had an old coworker over. She was super, super sweet. She had just had a baby. You know, I had babies. So we had him over for dinner. It was not fun. Like, I think I came on way too strong and was like emotionally vomiting on her. I think she was probably like, WTF? Whoa, like what's happening right now? I haven't slept in 3 months. Why are you puking all this on me? Her husband was very outspoken about politics that I didn't necessarily agree with. And Jake and I hadn't found like where we stood on that at all.
Yeah.
And so it was just really overwhelming. And that dinner was never repeated again.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think
It's
we
a
did
mutual,
the whole, like, yeah. We mutually
understanding.
decided not to go on our second date together.
Yeah.
But like, I learned a lot. Like, okay, Taya, you should probably rein it in. Don't come on so strong. Like, she doesn't need to know your entire life story today, you know? But yeah, like it's okay. I guess it's okay to try things and for it not to go well, because you will glean something from that situation. It doesn't all have to be rainbows and butterflies. Like you learn from the negatives too.
And you put yourself out there. And
that's
all you can
there's
do.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And I love how you took the first step so many times to inviting people over to your house, like come over for dinner. And sometimes it didn't work out, but you made a lot of great friends that way.
This is an interesting point. I was talking to my therapist about it. Old Taya loved to entertain. Like I attached that so much to my personality of like, I'm the hostess. I love hosting. I love doing all this. I realized I don't really like hosting that much.
Really?
Like,
Oh my gosh.
I'll
I'm
do
shocked.
it, but I don't crave it. Like we used to do like at least one dinner party a week, if not two, or we were going over to someone else's. Like it was just this constant open. And I like having people over, but I'm to the point now where I don't need it. Like I much more enjoy my quiet nights. Yeah. And maybe it's just the overstimulation of the kids, right? Because now kids come over. So the noise level is eye twitching, you know?
Yeah. So not hosting as much anymore. But when you were, I feel like you were having, people over all the time. And I feel like that helped to foster those new relationships and new friendships that you were forming. But also I know that you use some social media groups as well to meet people.
Yeah. So the beauty of my small town is there's a pretty active moms group in there. And, you know, including the one with the park meetup where she posted, I think I had met her at the park one day and she was outgoing and she was speaking to others and she was pregnant. So we talked about that, and her
she's
son
freaking
was
gorgeous.
Yeah. She's tall.
She's beautiful.
We're in awe. But also the most down to earth. Like,
isn't that something though that like
relatable?
I've heard a statistic that like pretty people get paid more or get more jobs and stuff like that. I feel like they get more friends. You like see someone that you think is pretty or attractive and you're like, I don't know why, because you're like, I'm going to look worse next to that person. Like I'd rather not stand next to her. She's like a foot taller than me, but I still want to be her friend. Why
you just look like a little Latina Polly Pocket next to her. It's the best.
Oh my God, thanks. I love that.
But yeah, so like, Sonia had posted like I'm going to be at the park every Thursday from 9 to noon or whatever. Like, if you want to come. And I was like, oh my God. Okay. So that's like an official invitation to go again. That's when I met Court. And it was just, I tried. I went there and I tried. And it was really cool how there was, you know, moms came every week. We got to know each other a little bit better. And from that group has grown this really amazing group of probably like 8 or 10 of us. And we're all from different backgrounds. We all have different beliefs. But yeah, it started just because someone said, I'm going to be at the park. If you want to come, I'd love to talk to another adult. You know, like, it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It was just,
and it doesn't put pressure on anybody. Like, either you're there or you're not.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was that first winter, there was times I would go and there'd be, you know, 5 or 6 other moms. And then there was times I'd be by myself.
I love that. Like, look out for Facebook groups that you can join in your community, or start one of your own. Here's the life lesson, right? If you put yourself out there, I feel like 9 times out of 10, there are other people in the same boat who want the same things, right? I see that all the time on the Facebook group. Is like, a mom moved to town or for whatever. She's like, I need more friends. And, you know, I like doing X, Y, and Z. My kid is this age, whatever. And people will flood the comments and be like, I'd love to meet up. I'm into that too. Or let's do this, let's do that. And so, yeah, if you're in a position of needing or wanting more friends, put it out there. Yeah.
What's it going to hurt?
Exactly. What's there to lose?
Yeah. Maybe you go on a couple bummer first dates, but maybe you get an amazing best friend. And at the very least, you'll have some funny anecdotal stories at your next dinner party.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
And I've been living vicariously through Taya because obviously I'm not a mom. I have yet to join like my own Facebook group, but I've seen some for like Seattle, which is obviously a bit too far for me, but like nurses that are like, hey, I'm a travel nurse. I don't have friends in the city. Like, if you want to meet up, let's go get coffee or something. But yeah, I see people post stuff like that all the time. And if I lived closer, I would totally go. But back to my point of living through Taya, I kind of tag along to the things that she goes to with other moms. And one of those things was a book club that one of the moms posted that she wanted to start. And me and Taya love to read. And she was like, look, there's this book club starting and it's their first meeting. And what do you say? Do you want to go? And I was like, yes, let's do it. Let's try it. And we were both like, this is either going to suck for an hour or it might be great.
I swear we had like a safe word where we're going to be like, if
right?
we lean over and are like pineapples, like,
right?
I suddenly don't feel good. We got to go.
We got to go. Like, right. Exactly.
We're ditching.
Yeah.
We were going to ditch, but at least we had each other.
Yeah.
And how was it?
It turned out amazing. We have made so many friends from this book club. We have a group that, you know, texts and chats, and we send each other all kinds of things on Instagram and TikTok. And we have a smaller group now that's reading all the Harry Potter books that we never read. They never read either. And then we were getting together and watching the movies. So it's worked out great. Also for
me, doing book club getaways.
Oh my gosh, book club getaways. Yes, we have actually gotten 15 women that are moms and professionals and busy. We've gotten all of us together to get away for the weekend.
And it's been absolutely amazing.
Absolutely amazing. If I can recommend one thing, it is get away with a group of moms. Because we all cook. Well, I'm a cat mom, but we all participate. Moms will cook, will clean. There's no arguing. There's no, you're messy, hey, let's clean that up, or who's going to do the dishes. Everyone just jumps in and participates. And
there's no itinerary.
There's no itinerary. There's like Google documents that we make about who's bringing what food, who's cooking what night. It's so organized. And it's been so peaceful. Like there's no drama. It's just like, do you want to read all day? Do it. You
want to go take a nap? Do it.
Yeah, there was a group of us at our first. We've done this twice, and we did one in the winter. And there was a group of girls, the active girls, who were like, "Let's go for a little hike." And and the rest of us were like, "Let's stay and take a nap." And we broke up into 2 groups, and it was perfect. It's been a great experience that came from going to that first book club. Also, there were a few other nurses that showed up to that book club. And I felt like I had, you know, something in common with them. And as soon as one nurse finds another nurse, we're like, oh my gosh, I love you. Are you struggling? Yes, I'm struggling. Do you love and hate this job? Yes, I love and hate it. Tell me about it. So like that was really nice to find other nurses to bond with.
And I think what struck me about specifically like the getaways, right, is we're sitting around this huge table having a phenomenal breakfast or dinner that everyone had pitched in to make. Mm-hmm. And I looked around and I was like, very few of us have that much in common besides our love of reading. And even that, we don't all love to read the same books.
Yeah.
Right? Like we'll like experiment with other types of books, but we all have like the core genres that we love.
Yeah.
But that amazed me. And it made my heart so full in that this beautiful group of accomplished and interesting and diverse women can come together and put all of our differences aside and just focus on what we have in common together and appreciate the differences that we have in each other, right? Like it really made me realize like you don't have to have that much in common with someone to be a friend.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
And one thing I have to say is that I have felt so supported from this group of women, especially in having left the community that we left. They've just been so wonderful about it and encouraging us, and they just have such nice things to say, like how brave we've been, even though I haven't felt brave.
It's not a word I would use to describe us.
No,
but
and just like accepting us for who we are. And like you said, we all have different beliefs. Some of the girls we've made good friendships with go to church every week, and you know they're in their own religion, and it's fine.
We had a girls' night a couple months ago, right? And there's a group of us sitting there, and there's a couple Catholics, there's a Jew, there's an agnostic, and then there's us, and we don't know what's happening.
Yeah,
but like, and we were specifically talking about religion, and people were going into and politics, and it was an open conversation where people could feel free and comfortable to state their opinions, but no one was over there like, well, you're wrong. I don't agree with that. This is what my religion does, or this is what my beliefs are. And and instead we're like, I love that for you. That's amazing. You know, like, and it was, you do you. Or like, we're talking about how we talk about this stuff with our kids. And it was, again, like everyone was like, oh, I like that take on that. I'm going to alter that to match my beliefs, but I like that approach. Yeah. And I don't know, I just sat back at that girls' night. I was like, damn, this feels so grown up.
It
that
is.
We respect each other's differences.
It's the beauty of a mature adult relationship. It's not like the catty, dramatic relationships of our teenage years, you know?
Yeah. Ain't got time for that.
No, we don't have time for that. Exactly. And I think everyone's on the same page about that. Like, we're just here to foster our friendships and make real connections. And nobody has time for the petty crap.
Yeah, talking about like drama, I just said to Courtney last week, like, I feel like I'm that friend who constantly has shit going on. Like I have the drama, and I hate that because I hate the drama, but it's the nature of our lives right now. But, you know, and she's like, well, I don't feel that way. And I'm like, I am almost hesitant when people are like, how are you? I'm hesitant to be like, well, it's continuing to get worse. And, you know, like dive into all this, but they have never once made me feel that way. And if anything, during that conversation, she's like, we're here for you. Like, there's a reason you're our friend. And it's that we know that this is a hard period. We're not afraid of it. We're not tired of it. Like, we want to continue to support you through that. And I was like, oh, geez, you know, she's making me cry. Give me all the feels.
That's so sweet. Yeah.
But again, like, it's that in a mature friendship, I feel like your friends are there to support you.
Yeah.
And also sometimes to give you some tough love. Yep. And that's, you know,
I'm the tough lover. I think one of my good friends. Also, the beauty that came out of this is that we did have some friends that left the religion before we did, and so we have kind of reconnected with them. Yeah. But yeah, I have one friend who is kind of like a younger sister. She's 5 years younger than me, and we were best friends growing up. And she would tell you, I give a lot of tough love, and I'm like, look, if it were someone else that didn't love you as much, they wouldn't say it, but I will call you on your crap. Yeah. But I love you, but I want you to be the best person you can be. And sometimes that means I got to tell you the truth.
Yeah. You messed up.
Yeah,
you're doing it wrong. Yeah.
Right.
Right. I know there's this video of the concept of day friends versus night friends, and how day friends are the ones you like grab a cup of coffee with and you go for a walk with and you talk about the books and podcasts and like it's a little bit more like surface level. And those are great. Everyone needs day friends. But then you have night friends. Night friends you can maybe get a little buzzed with. You maybe talk about some inappropriate stuff with, maybe even get into some shenanigans with. But you relate to them because you yourself have probably got did some stuff, you know, you relate. And your night friends can be your day friends, which is super cool that you have that chameleon friendship. But your day friends will probably always stay your day friends.
Yeah.
Right. Like, that. Yeah. You know,
I get real deep, and especially like as a nurse, I feel like I have no filter. I'm like, girl, I was at the gynecologist the other day, and like, I will talk about everything.
Yeah. Well, Sonia says,
no shame.
Life is too short for undersharing, like overshare.
Ooh. Yeah.
Because it's what we all, it's our lives, right? Like, don't get gross with it, but like.
I get a little gross. I'm not gonna lie.
Gross is going to be different for everybody, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I love that. Like, she's always like, overshare. Tell me all of it. I want to hear.
And then when you do overshare and the other person's like, whoa, like that coworker that you had over to work, you're like, okay, well, you're a day friend.
Yeah. Yeah. She's a day friend.
Yeah.
And she has the most beautifully curated Instagram. Like,
nice.
I don't feel like I can tag her now, but she knows. She was there.
Exactly. She was there.
Gosh. I think authentic people crave authenticity, and inauthentic people crave inauthenticity because they can hide behind it. And so I think when you come at a situation authentically, you're going to attract that kind of energy to yourself.
Yeah.
And that's Taya's philosophical thought of the day. I also, last night I was talking to Jake about this, and I was like, you know what? Friendships are like salt, man. Like, you got to have it. Like, without it, just life is bland. Yeah. And I sat there and I was like, damn, that was impressive. I just made that up. And he's like, I'm pretty sure.
You didn't even have a gummy?
No. And he's like, I'm pretty sure you saw that on a tea towel somewhere. And I was like, probably. No. I Googled it. It's definitely a saying. It's definitely a saying. But I felt really smart for, you know, like, friendships are like salt. They are the zest of life, and they add a lot of flavor. But yeah, I think back to the authentic part, like, I'm still trying to figure out what is authentically Taya. And that's a remnant from our past. But, you know, it is interesting to explore that. And when things do vibe, for lack of a better word, when they do mesh, it feels right, and you really don't have to work at it. And like, I think you can be friendly with lots of people. Like, you know, in this book club, there's like 75 members or something. Not everyone comes, but I'm friendly with all of those people. And then there's a group inside of that group that I am closer friends with because for whatever reason we have connected. That group will continue to change and morph as life ebbs and flows and grows. But I think if you approach it authentically, you're good. If you come in with some fakeness, it repels people. So just don't.
Yes, be yourself.
Be yourself.
I'm naturally a very goofy, sarcastic person. And I can tell right away if I like am too much for someone. My goal in life is to make everyone laugh. I don't know why. I'm like, how can I make this situation funny?
I think you nail it.
Thanks. I try. See, and this is why our friendship works, because if I'm really goofy with someone and they're not laughing, I'm like, okay, you don't get my humor, which
how could you not? Yeah.
I know. That's not a me problem.
Go look at me.
But like, obviously we don't vibe, and I'm not gonna not be my goofy self to make a friendship work, because you can't keep that up. No, you can't keep it up. Yeah. I know, talking with my therapist yesterday about like this topic, and he's like, well, a good question to pose is like to ask people, what do they expect from a friend or out of a friendship? What are they looking for? Is it, you know, and someone had made the comment like, I think everyone's looking for that ride or die type of person. But the reality is we're not going to get those. Yeah, we're not all ride or dies. And we're lucky if we have a couple in our lives. I think everyone deserves that in their lives. But I think for so many of us, like, just having
our day and our night friends.
Yeah.
Is
Pretty
good.
Yeah.
But Jake said he thought a friend is someone you can be honest with, who you don't have to put on a face for, you don't have to pretend anything, or you don't have to worry how they're going to react when you say something.
Yeah.
And that struck me as like, man, that is true. Like when
That's
you have a true friend, like you can say those things and you don't have to worry how they're going to be, if they're going to judge you, how they're going to
be offended.
Yeah. And like the ones you don't have to put on a face for, the ones you can be, you can be honest with, like, I'm having a really crappy time right now, or just be honest. Like, I'm not in a great mental place.
Yep.
And be like, okay, well, do you want to talk about it? Do you want to ignore it? Do you want to read books together? Do you want to sit and puzzle together? That's something I've been doing with a couple friends, and it's amazing.
Like, what do you need from me?
Yeah.
And that's a great friend who can ask that. And I think as people that have struggled with mental health, like we know sometimes I need you just to listen. Sometimes I want you to recommend some ideas. I need some advice from you. Sometimes I need you to hate on this bitch with me. Okay. Like sometimes, I just need you to be honest. Am I the asshole, as they would say? Yeah. And if you have a friend like that, you got gold. Absolutely. And that you can be honest with. I have to tell my husband that a lot because I'm like, okay, look, I'm going to come to you with this work problem or whatever. Don't give me a solution. I just need you to acknowledge that I'm pissed off about this. Okay.
Yeah.
and validate my feelings. Yeah. That's all I need.
Yeah.
But if your friend knows that and you don't even have to explain it, that is amazing.
Yeah.
That's a good friend.
I think key takeaways in my head are like, be willing to build a friend group that meets you where you currently are in your life. Even if that means letting go of people who have been in your life for years and years, but maybe who aren't supporting you in your newest endeavor, or maybe they have, habits that you're trying to kick or styles of life that you're trying to move past. Maybe they tend to encourage you towards, a negative mind space. Yeah. Like whatever it is, like let those go and be willing to embrace it, right? It's not a breakdown, it's a breakthrough. It doesn't have to like reframe it and be willing to build yourself a life that you deserve, because everyone deserves to have friends. There are people out there who want to be your friend. You might just have to go find them. Yeah. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Beautifully wrapped up.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that's our episode. Thank you guys for listening. Please leave us feedback on if you've had to make new friends, if you've moved, if, you had a big life change, you became a mom. Let us know. Has anyone come up to you and been like, will you be my friend? Would you like to go and get some coffee or something?
I hope the dry cleaner girl hears this and she's like, oh my God, Heather, I do want to be your friend.
I know. I'm literally like, what else could I get dry cleaned? Again, I feel like it's like dating. I'm like, how do I get this girl's number in a non-romantic way? How do I see her again?
I'll go through my closet. I'm sure I have something to dry clean.
Oh, that's so
Actually,
sweet.
You know what? The dog threw up on my down comforter today. You could take that in and get it dry clean for me. That'd be great.
All right. Yeah. So please leave us a comment.
Yeah.
Rate the show. Follow. Subscribe if you like it.
Give us the love, please.
Yeah.
Or the negativity too, because that also helps our ratings. So.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, if you really hated this and you need to comment about it, please do. Okay, so book segment.
Yeah, I feel like we need to do like a bring.
All right, Taya, what are you reading?
Okay, so I set a goal for myself to read 15 minutes of nonfiction a day because I loathe nonfiction. But I'm trying to be smarter because most of the books I read make me dumber. And so I'm really trying to
I really doubt that.
So I started this book, Untamed by Glennon Doyle, 2 years ago. And I literally read the first, 50 pages. And my mind was going to explode with all of the earth-shattering information that she was giving me. And I was like, I can't digest all this right now. And so then I thought, well, you know what? Rather than sit down and try to read it like a novel, take 15 minutes a day, read a little bit, and then you can chew on that. You can ponder it. And so that's what I've been doing. So every night when I get in the bath, I start with my 15 minutes of Glennon. Okay. And I actually bought tabs. Oh, I'm going to start annotating it.
Wow.
I know. In the meantime, I've just dog-eared all the pages. So,
okay, what is it about?
About finding yourselves. Like, do you not know this book?
No, I don't know it at all.
Oh,
I didn't know Glennon was a female.
Oh, okay. Well, let's start at base. Let's just start at the beginning then.
Let's.
It is all about her, like, kind of coming of age. Like, how do we even describe this? This is how you find yourself. That's what she says. So it's just a book about kind of her life experience. And I love it starts out with, she was a successful author. She wrote this book. She went on, before this book, went on a world tour. Like it was a bestseller. And it was all about how she overcame addiction and struggles to build herself like this really happy family life with her husband and child. And she gets back from that and goes to therapy with her husband, where he tells her he's been cheating on her since they got married. And she's like, hell hath no fury like a writer whose plot you just blew up. And she's like, I just made my career off of this story, and you're telling me it's all bullshit? And
damn.
Yeah. So it's how she recovered from that. And it's, she becomes untamed. Wow. And so she talks about this like inner dialogue that, you know, she's been suppressing or squashing, and she's letting it all out now.
Did she stay with him?
No. She's gay.
Oh.
So the plot twist.
It worked out.
It worked out. But so it's all about that journey of redoing it. So I'm taking bite-sized pieces of this. I'm obsessed. Yeah. It is a very popular book for a reason, and I'm very excited. But I have a list of other books I'm going to read, so I will continue to update you as we go on. And then my For Funsies book is one that is called Kingdom of the Wicked.
Oh, I saw you read the first one, right?
Yeah.
I saw that on Goodreads. Okay.
So due to stressful situations in my personal life, I needed a book I could hide in, where like it just removed me from my worries. I can't relate to anything in this book because it's about a witch and demon princes. And while I can be witchy, I'm not one, unfortunately. So I loved it. I'm eating it up. But I'm really curious if I go back and read it again in 6 months, I will be like, that really wasn't that good, you know, or is it just like the time that I'm reading it right now? But for now, it's doing the job and it's removing. So I'm on book 2 of that series, and we'll see where I go.
Nice.
Okay, so what are you reading?
Okay. So I was just going to ask how many books are in the series.
3?
Okay, you don't know.
God, I hope not. I don't want to I got other stuff to read.
I know. I have so many things to read. Okay, so first book I'm reading is called The Measure by Nikki Ehrlich. Yes. This is a thriller, apparently. One day, everybody wakes up and opens their door, and there is a box on their door that has a string, and the length of the string is the length that you're going to live. So some people got a short string, some people got a long string. Every single person in the world, every hut in the Andes, everyone got a box overnight. So I just am a couple chapters in. But so far it's good. It's interesting because obviously not everyone is choosing to open their box. Like if you knew how long your life was going to live, would you want to know?
Oh geez, that's a head scratcher.
Yeah. So far it's following a couple different people, and we'll see where that goes.
Can you like tie your string to another string and be like, ta-da?
So
got extra time.
They've been studying the strings, the scientists. You can't burn it, you can't cut it. It's interesting. And then I'm also reading, I just started The Quiet Tenant by Clemence Michelon. I think she's French.
Another
and it's
thriller?
Another thriller. How can you tell? I'm really into thrillers. I want something that scares me, but I'm too afraid to read any horror. So it is about a man who is a kidnapper and a serial killer, and he's holding this girl captive in like a shed on his property.
Light and airy.
Yeah. So he's had her there for like 5 years.
Oh, Jesus.
And then he has to move. So he takes the woman that he's holding in a shed out of the shed. They move. He moves her into his house, his new house, and still keeps her prisoner, like locked up in her room most of the day. But he has a 13-year-old daughter, and he's got to hide the fact that she's a prisoner. So I don't know how all this is going to turn out, but the writing is interesting. It's like short sentences, but I haven't decided if I like the writing style yet or not.
Maybe it's because she's French.
That's probably why.
Here's a challenge for you. Try to make one new friend this week, or just engage in a conversation with a random stranger and see where that gets you. Hopefully not a police interaction where they're like, this crazy person wouldn't leave me alone.
Right. I think honestly, the easiest thing, like we all love to get compliments, right? I think the easiest thing is to just shoot out a compliment to someone, like an honest compliment. Like if you love their hair, tell them.
Yep.
So yeah, that's our episode. Thank you all for coming. And next week.
Oh yeah. What are we talking about next week?
About politics.
Oh my God. Is that next week?
That is next week. I know. Don't worry. Do not worry. We don't know a whole lot about politics.
Understatement.
Yeah. So it's going to be about how we figured out how to go about the process of voting.
And I think we'll roll into that other like kind of beliefs, thought processes.
That sounds right.
The thought process that goes into making decisions.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you all for listening. We will see you next week.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Oh.
Like, subscribe. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, TikTok, Instagram, email. Yes.
Okay, good.
Bye.
Bye.